Welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. I hope you're doing fine. I'm also okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I once told you that Kalonzo Musyoka has two ways to the presidency, two paths to be exact. The first route to Kalonzo's presidency is if the Gen Zs, people aged between 18 years and 27 years, decided to register as voters en masse and settled on Kalonzo Musyoka as their presidential candidate of choice, then Kalonzo Musyoka, based on the sheer number of Gen Zs, is likely to win the presidency. But that would require that the Gen Zs who have registered as voters not only turn out to vote, but can also defy the tribal voting pattern. If that doesn't happen, even if the Gen Zs had registered en masse, they will still vote according to tribal line, which will not favor Kalonzo. But in the event that the impossible happen, first they register en masse, meaning millions of them register as voters, and they turn out to vote, and they defy the traditional tribal voting line, settled on Kalonzo as their presidential candidate, he wins. But that requires a lot of faith. The other option for Kalonzo Musyoka, the other path to President Kalonzo Musyoka, is if he gets both the support of Mount Kenya and that of Luo Nyanza through Raila Odinga. And that forms the basis of this particular video. In this video, we look at possibilities of Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka working together in 2027. If that is something you are interested in, stay tuned. And if you're watching for the first time, I urge you to take a moment, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss videos like this. Ladies and gentlemen, Kalonzo Musyoka is no stranger to vying, is no stranger to presidential competitions. Remember, he first showed his interest in vying as a president as early as 2002. When they walked out of KANU, the main reason why the likes of Kalonzo did not stay in KANU, even though they had been in KANU for eternity, was because he was persuaded, having served Moi for the longest time with dedication, he would have been nominated to replace Moi. And when Moi went with Uhuru, the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka walked out because he felt that his presidential ambition was being killed by Moi's decision. And Kalonzo had shown a lot of interest in vying as president then. Of course, Raila said Kibaki Tosha and the rest is history. But come 2007, Kalonzo did not even wait. He actually ran with ODM Kenya and declared himself the presidential candidate and went to the ballot. He became a distant third. That is after Raila Odinga and Mwai Kibaki. In 2013, Kalonzo Musyoka had declared that he was going to vie no matter what. He was serious with his candidature until Raila, I think, gave him a deal that they form a coalition and Raila would support him in 2017. By 2017, you know what happened. CORD coalition was killed. NASA coalition was brought to life. And so you see the agreements that were under CORD died with CORD. Kalonzo Musyoka was really devastated. He said he was now going to vie in 2017 no matter what. I think he was given another deal again, and they had to now register their agreement with the Registrar of Political Parties to show how serious it was. Funnily enough, in 2022, the same thing happened. Raila just came up with a new coalition, which meant that whatever was agreed under NASA became null and void. And Kalonzo Musyoka was a very sad fella. He actually didn't want to support Raila. Uhuru had to intervene for Kalonzo Musyoka to support Raila Odinga. But now, political circumstances have changed, ladies and gentlemen. The people who overwhelmingly voted for Ruto and made him president are now his worst critics. Kalonzo Musyoka, for the first time, is seeing an opportunity of getting support from Mount Kenya. But he still needs, like I told you, he still needs the support of either Luo or the Gen Zs. Because without that, whatever he has cannot compete with whatever Ruto and Raila will have. So if he gets Raila out of Ruto's side and Raila joins him in 2027, Kalonzo Musyoka has a very high chance of winning the presidency. In fact, it's not even a very high chance he would win the presidency very early in the morning. Now that I've walked you through the history of Kalonzo's presidential candidature, let us see possible scenarios in which Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga may work in 2027. One scenario is where Raila Odinga is the candidate, Kalonzo Musyoka is the running mate, and they have the support of Mount Kenya. That is one scenario. Very difficult for Mount Kenya to support that particular agreement without them getting something substantial. But let's say it happens. Raila is the candidate, Kalonzo Musyoka is the running mate, and Mount Kenya is backing that particular coalition. The second option is Kalonzo Musyoka is the candidate. Raila has donated a running mate because he cannot be Kalonzo's running mate, and Mount Kenya still supports that coalition. Very difficult still, because Mount Kenya not getting the number 2 position, if they're giving you that amount of vote, is not easy. But let's say it's there. Raila is just donating a running mate, maybe from Western, Nyanza, or Coast, and Kalonzo is the candidate. The third option is where Kalonzo is the candidate, he has a running mate from Mount Kenya, and he is still backed by Raila Odinga. So those are the scenarios. Those are the possible ways they can work. The question is, can they work together in 2027? This is politics. Let us look at the 2 reasons why Raila may choose to support Kalonzo Musyoka. One, if he doesn't get the AUC seat and is persuaded that Ruto did not do enough, so feeling betrayed and the need to revenge. In that case, Raila would come, he would endorse Kalonzo Musyoka, whether they are getting anything or not, just to make sure that Ruto does not get his second term. The second scenario is where Raila Odinga is at AUC, Ruto has made sure he gets that post, but he chooses to tell Luos that I am going to endorse Kalonzo Musyoka because he has supported me thrice. Whether he's at AUC or not, he just decides that it is time I repaid Kalonzo for his support. Now, we have looked at Kalonzo's history in terms of going for the presidency. We have looked at the scenarios under which Raila and Kalonzo can work. And we have now looked at the reasons why Raila might decide to support Kalonzo Musyoka. So we want to look at, would that support make a difference? And I want to tell you, yes. If Raila Odinga endorsed Kalonzo Musyoka in 2027, it will make a very big difference. And not just a very big difference. It can actually make Kalonzo Musyoka the president of the republic. But there is a big if. For this to work, Mount Kenya must be part of this particular arrangement. Because without Mount Kenya in the mix, Raila supporting Kalonzo will just be a repeat of 2013 and 2017. They will not be a match. They will not win. But with Mount Kenya in the picture, supporting this agreement or this candidature or this coalition, then Kalonzo has a very high chance of winning. So there it is. If Raila chooses to endorse Kalonzo for whatever of the 2 reasons I've given you, and Mount Kenya agrees to back that, then Kalonzo Musyoka is your president. There is just one challenge. The people of Western and Luo Nyanza and even Coast are feeling that their closest path to the presidency is through William Ruto and not through Kalonzo Musyoka, supported by Mount Kenya. And here is how. Kalonzo Musyoka, supported by Mount Kenya, means that the running mate would be a Kikuyu, which means that when Kalonzo Musyoka gets out of office, he would be demanded to support the running mate, the Kikuyu running mate for presidency. So that eliminates the people of Western, Luo Nyanza and Coast from the picture of ever getting to the presidency. But on the Ruto side, if Ruto goes into 2027 election with a running mate from Western, Coast, or Luo Nyanza, then Ruto finishes his term in 2032. If that combination wins 2027, the same combination can win 2032. And this is not some guesswork. The combination that won in 2013 is what won in 2017. And that combination still won in 2022. I have told you, 3 communities, they decide who becomes president. If 2 of them come together, they will give you the presidency. And let's say Ruto's camp goes with a running mate from Western, Luo Nyanza, or Coast, then by 2032, you are guaranteed of a president from those regions, either from Coast, from Western, or from Luo Nyanza. And so for Raila, the ground will tell him that it is easier to work for the benefit of the community. It is easier and more rewarding to side with Ruto. During the anarchy of June last year, Raila still chose to be with Ruto. And he made it very clear that given a choice between siding with Rigathi Gachagua and siding with William Ruto, it was a very simple choice for him. He went directly and supported William Ruto. And why? Because I'm telling you that the path to a Luo president is through William Ruto, not through Kalonzo Musyoka. So the first complication is that the path to a Luo presidency is not through Kalonzo. But then the second complication is if Raila Odinga wins the AUC and he comes back to tell people to vote against Ruto, he will face a rebellion that he has never seen before. Because even the voter in Luo land has made it very clear that that is what they are waiting for. That works, and then they will vote for Ruto to punish Mount Kenya. And that is also, by the way, the reason why Mount Kenya is praying that Raila does not win AUC, because they know if Raila wins AUC, then the deal between them and Ruto is sealed. And if it is sealed, there is no way you win against a combined force of Raila Odinga and William Ruto. In any election, you cannot win that. And the days of rigging like Kibaki did are long gone. In conclusion, Kalonzo Musyoka may work with Raila Odinga, but it depends on whether Raila wins AUC or not. Because if he doesn't win, then he has an opportunity to come and claim that Ruto did not do enough, and then he doesn't owe Ruto anything, and so he can freely support whoever he wants to support. And in that case, he might choose to support Kalonzo. But then the people of Luoland and Coast and Western will also be asking, what do we get? In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, it is true Kalonzo and Raila can still work together, but it depends on whether Raila wins AUC or not. If he doesn't win AUC, it is very easy for Raila to come back and say that he's just paying Kalonzo for being with him for all those years. The only challenge is his people may want a second position, which Mount Kenya will not be willing to surrender. And if Mount Kenya doesn't surrender that position, then the voter turnout in areas that Raila control will be the lowest in history. And also, if Kalonzo gives in and gives the second position to somebody that Raila has nominated, Mount Kenya will not be motivated enough to support him. So it will be very tricky, but they can work together. And if they work together and things work out, despite the challenges, Kalonzo Musyoka will be the president. If you found this video useful, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Otherwise, if you want to know more about Kalonzo's chances of winning the presidency come 2027, watch this video.